Hi everyone, this is one of my solutions or remedies to make life easier with all the atrocities that are going on. It's a 14 by 10 cabin in my garden. This preparedness has rolled through into my home premises. You know, if the power was to go out, you've lost your lighting, you've lost all your charging facilities, you know, i.e. mobile phone, laptop, computers, TV, all your home entertainment, which we've grown accustomed to rely on pretty much. We all need some kind of stimulus. So this cabin gives me and my family that entertainment, that stimulus, even if it's for 1 or 2 hours a day. Maybe adopt something like this in your lifestyle, knowing, you know, what's down the road, what's coming, whether it is in your own backyard, you know, I haven't got a huge premises, or somewhere remote, a woodland or a piece of land. I think it's definitely essential to have something like this. And it's definitely essential to rely on yourself and rely on your abilities and your knowledge and put all that into practice and become a self-sufficient individual, so you don't need to rely, you know, on the grid, on the powers that be as much as we do. In turn, that makes you a more independent individual, a more confident individual, and an individual that's going to push through to the future with a positive mindset and be able to ride out this storm. So now's the time to, you know, to think like this if you're not already thinking like it, which most of you are. But if you're not, then now's the time to get these items that I'm going to show you and build a more independent lifestyle. You know, be your own man, try and take care of your family. You're responsible for them, not the powers that be. And obviously stock up on as much dried stores or tin stores as you possibly can. So definitely now's the time. Food prices are never going to be like they were. So buy it now, get yourself prepared, get yourself set up so you can sit back and have peace of mind and not have to worry. You know, this so-called energy crisis is going to be coming more severe January, February, March, when we really need our energy. I know a lot of people in the UK now are really struggling. And if they had that foresight and had something like this, or bigger or smaller, or a shed or something that's really well insulated, or a room in your house with an independent heating source with food, then you're an independent soul and you will ride this out. So somewhere like this, I can be self-sufficient. I don't need power because I have lithium batteries in here. I have a solar panel on the roof. Eventually I'm going to invest in a wind generator. So then it places this cabin within my garden off grid. So this has been erected in the last 4 months. So I've got it pretty much how I want it, and pretty much as self-sufficient as I can be in the environment that I'm in. So one of the first things I wanted to put in here was a gas-fired heater. This has been absolutely brilliant. We had that cold spell and I just leave it on 1 bar and it heats this cabin up beautifully. It's fully insulated and double glazed, so it's perfect for retaining the heat that this fire's giving out. I've gone for a larger fire with a 13 kilogram butane gas which the larger the bottles, the cheaper it becomes. So don't forget, when the rolling blackouts come, people think their boiler's still going to work, but your boiler, if you've got a conventional radiator system, still requires electricity for the pilot light and obviously the pump to pump your hot water around your system. So although the electric goes out, you've lost your central heating system. So when you are cold, something like this you really appreciate. So definitely put one of these on your list if you have got a cabin or a room in your house. They're a wet heat, so you get a bit of condensation, but hey ho, you can't beat a heat source wherever it's coming from. So I position this on the other side of the cabin. This is my diesel heater inlet, fully remote control. So you've got on and off and plus and minus to regulate your heat temperatures. So this is a great addition. Sometimes I have the fire on and sometimes the gas fire, and sometimes I use the diesel heater, but if you combine the two, wow, you get a tremendous amount of heat. So with them two heat sources within the cabin, it's given me cheap heat system. A 13 kilo gas bottle on one bar, rationing it, using it as and when you need it. I reckon you're looking a couple of months of heat during a cold spell. And the diesel heater is so efficient. It's a 5 litre tank in there, and I have it on, not really hot, sort of a medium heat. You may be looking a couple of weeks, hour or two a day. So why diesel's a bit cheaper at the moment, it's worth stocking up on the fuel. So when all the curtains are pulled, which are thermal line curtains, and with the insulation floor and roof, you can really keep yourself warm in here. And like some people, they're just staying in bed, so that kind of the way to operate like that, to stay in bed all day long just to keep warm, that's not for me. So that's why I like forward thinking and planning, and there's nothing worse than being cold. January, February are going to be some cold months. We've had a cold snap already, and there's nothing worse than struggling and freezing, especially for the elderly and the young. So that's the diesel heater outside, really easy to set up. Just cord a hole in the wall, link in the power to a 12 volt leisure battery. 47 kilo propane. Remember to buy propane, not butane, if you're leaving it outside, because butane will freeze. So that bottle supplies my gas stove, which I find I've had one in my Land Rover. If you follow my Land Rover channel, I've had one in there for 3 years now, and I think it's an amazing stove. Electronic ignition, and it has a hot plate, so you can do all kinds of cooking on it. So like I said, if push comes to shove, you've got a way of making a brew, you've got a way of cooking, you've got a way of making a hot water bottle, you've got a way of sterilising. So a definite must. It's not break the bank stove, it's just perfect, very reliable. Like I said, I've had one for 3 years and it's been bulletproof. Use it all the time. This is a essential piece of kit to have in your home, or if you're travelling, or in your off-grid cabin, is a Berkey water filter. This is the travel edition, definitely a necessity. Don't forget, same again, if the power goes down, you're not going to get water, and water is the most precious commodity on the planet. So what you do, you just fill up from the top. There's the filters there. Fill up any water source from anywhere. If it's really grungy water, obviously filter it first to save your filters inside the Berkey. and then pour that inside the system. It's all gravity fed, and you've got fresh drinking water, and the filters last a long time, real long time. So this is the travel version. Like I said, you can get bigger, obviously filter a lot of water, but at the moment there's only a couple of us, so it holds around 4.5 litres, so it's a perfect size for in here and for our consumption. So outside the cabin, when push comes to shove, I install the water collection system. I've got 4 of these up the top of the garden, and then I've got another 3 down the other side of the garden. It's surprising how much water comes off the roofs. Remember, if your gutters are dirty or whatever, to have a mill bag or some way of getting all the sediment out before you put it in the Berkey filter. So you may ask me, well, where are you getting the power from if there's a blackout? Well, this is your solution. You know, I'm not a real big lover of technology, but some tech I absolutely rave about. So this is one of my power stations. So what I'll do, I'll use this system, run it down, and then I'll bring another system in that's always charged, and they supply me, you know, with enough power to run a TV and a laptop and lighting. And I've chose lighting that is really low wattage and low burn. So my lights in here to light this up about 10 watts, and then also on the roof I have a 100 watt solar panel, but I'm going to increase that with a wind generator, so I'm always trickle charging, putting power back into these units. But they're phenomenal units. It enables people to live like this. It enables people to live totally remote. They're just phenomenal, and they've got so much power. This one here has got a 3000 watt surge, so you can run pretty much any appliance within an off-grid premises. Not for a long period of time, but you know, you're enabled to run it. But I like running small appliances such as lights, a TV. This TV is about 30 watts, so it's not a huge draw, but we all like our entertainment and we all like to be stimulated. So, you know, if you like your mobile phone, you like your TV, you like your Xbox or your PlayStation, and the power goes out, then you need a great backup power source, and you definitely need one for lighting. I've spent many a night pitch black or sitting round something like this, just a small light source, unable to operate, do anything. And if you try that, if you've never done it, give it a go. Spend an evening round a battery candle such as that, or a real candle, and see how you feel. After an hour or two, you just wanted to go to bed because your brain is not stimulated. The serotonin in your brain naturally wants you to go to sleep, so you'll be sleeping 14 hours every day if you've got no light, which is good for you, but the lifestyle we all live, it's not practical. But as you can see, that's one of my ways of lighting the cabin, is a strip light. Another great advantage, don't run halogen bulbs, move over to LEDs, they're less fuel consumption. So at the moment that strip's burning 5 watts, and that runs the whole 14 foot of the cabin, which gives you enough ambient light. And I have that on a remote with a colour selector, so if you are affected by different light moods, it's definitely good. try sleeping in different light conditions or staying in a place with different lighting. Different lighting affects our mood, but I have it on red because I find red a very relaxing light, and obviously blue and yellows are more of a vibrant light, make you more active and bits and pieces, but I do like to be chilled out. If we want to do some reading, we've got a brighter light, same again, low wattage light, putting out the maximum amount of power. So total consumption from my light strip and my electric light, because the inverter's on as well, so it'll be burning a little bit more power. So we're going 7 watts for the electric light and 5 watts for the strip light. But you could start gauging your energy, the power that's coming in to the power that's going out. Obviously I need to upgrade my solar panels. I've got 100 watt, but if we're running everything really low, really minimum, then you can manage your energy really well and you can get away with less and less power. So these are definitely essential. A good quality sofa bed. I picked this one up really cheap. Absolutely love it. It's so easy to fold out. It's got storage underneath, so I have a really warm quilt under here, plus this wall blanket, and you're toasty. So although you could have your candles going, that could be your only heat source, but with a good quilt and a nice hot water bottle, you can get through some of the toughest cold weather conditions. So there's kind of 2 stages to this preparedness. You can go quite, luxurious in your approach, or you can start thinking, if that breaks down, or if my generator breaks down, or if I haven't got enough power, how else can I stay warm? How else can I cook my food? How else can I operate? If this all did break down, then I have charcoal, I have wood, I have a couple of cook stations outside, so I can still operate. It's when you're not thinking of relying on one system, and you have multiple systems within your approach, and then you can ride anything out. As you've seen in my woodland camp, if things got really nasty in the area that I live in, I've got my camp to fall back on, I've got timber to fall back on, I have a wood burner, I have my sleeping bags, I've got a backup of a backup. It was nice setting this cabin up to become more self-sufficient than I was before I had it. It's nice coming up knowing you can be warm, and you're not paying an arm and a leg for your heating. So I hope this has been interesting. I'm gonna maybe do a few more videos like this and show you how I operate in this environment, maybe do a night and some cook-ups and bits and pieces, and show you how comfortable someone can be in an environment like this, especially when if it turns really cold January, February, and keep you updated on what I'm doing. But definitely 2023, you'll probably see me doing more growing and bits and pieces like that, becoming more self-sufficient along with my camp outs and bits and pieces. So I think I've covered the fundamentals in this video, the kind of basics of how I've set this cabin up, and I hope it's been interesting for you guys, and any thoughts and advice you'd like to give me. I know some of you are really set up, so any feedback would be much appreciated, and I'll see you on the next video. You take care, guys. Enjoy the great outdoors.